they will be finding it difficult to learn in all subjects, irrespective of this or that. But in the case of learning disability, children with learning disability, we find the studies have shown that they have difficulty in reading skill, in mathematics, and in writing skill only. But otherwise, they are okay. And what do the support we give for the slow learners? And it is just to put it in a nutshell here. We need to give, as a teachers, we need to give them extra time, and we have to simplify our teaching methods, and a lot of patience is required in dealing with them. As far as children with LD is concerned, we require specialized interventions, skill focus, maybe some kind of special training also required for the teachers to deal with them. And what is the classroom placement? We have to place the children with slow learners, the children with this slow learning problem, along with other regular class. They should be put in a regular class, and some support should be provided. But as far as learning disability is concerned, we need a trained, specialized resource teachers, and also some special education is required. Learning disability, I would say, it is a special problem, and you can see it in a few students, but not all. Slow learning is more rampant. It is more widespread than learning disabilities. And understanding slow learning. You may say, why? What is the purpose of understanding slow learning? Understanding slow learning helps educators and parents to provide empathetic, structured, and supportive environments. See, for that, we have to use some visual aids, step-by-step instructions, positive reinforcement, etc., etc. Every school talks about achieving academic excellence, 100% results. It is a common refrain is that a school securing 100% result in public exam is a good school. Parents throng toward it. So if the teacher school has to achieve that kind of target, they have to see that the children perform well in the exams, in the public exam. So in this competitive and consumerist academic ecosystem, academic excellence is very important. If the school has to achieve an overall academic excellence, they have to take care of children who are slow learning also. It is very crucial in this situation. And some children are average learners only. They are not slow learners. And with our academic support and emotional support, they can be made at par with other children also. Now, comparison table. Now, we come to this question. Sir, what is average learner? What is a slow learner? As I told you in the classroom which I visited, the teacher called some children as average learners, and some children as children who are not learning at all. So there is a difference between these two kinds of children. They are average learners and slow learners. Slow learners I have already described. They are very slow, needing representation. They understand things very late understanding, delayed understanding, and they are very passive, withdrawn. All those things I have told already. And as far as average learners are concerned, they are moderate. If you tell them few times, repeat few times, they will understand. And they are balanced and they are willing to cooperate. They will try also. And the response time will be normal. They are actually attention span will be longer, but in the case of children with slow learning, very short attention span. And they can apply the learned known facts and unknown situations also. That is, application is okay for them. And slow learners, as I told you, they are passive, but average learners will be active. Only thing is that they will not be able to perform very well due to several other factors. You cannot just dismiss them as children who cannot learn. They are quite capable of learning. And key behavioral indicators of slow learners. Now there is a certain set of indicators for slow learners. As far as academic behavior is concerned, they struggle with basic skills, which I told you already, reading, writing, and arithmetic compared to peers. And they require more time and repetition, and difficulty in retaining information and applying in different concepts. See, actually, what is application? Application means applying known facts in unknown situation. That is what is called as application. So, but these children are will not be able to do it. And in spite of all our efforts, they will perform poorly in the examination. Their scores will be not all that good. Okay, so this key behavioral indicators to continue that as far as the classroom is concerned, classroom behavior is concerned, if you have a multi-step instructions, for example, in mathematics, is done in multi-step fashion. It is not just one sentence or two sentence instruction. You have to give multi-step instruction in mathematics. So they are not able to follow these multi-step instructions. They have very short attention span. They are not able to focus. They are not able to concentrate. They get very easily distracted, and they are they will avoid tasks which requires independent thinking. They will start asking here and looking there, and they will try to find out from their peers or keep disturbing them, and etc. etc. And their performance also will not be consistent. They may be good in theory, but they may not be good in practical. They may be good in practicals, they may not be good in theory. So this kind of inconsistency you may say in this, you may see in these slow learners. Okay, then to continue this, there is certain indicators as far as their cognitive behavior is concerned, because their brain is slow in processing information and also answering questions. Their critical thinking and problem solving skills are also not up to the mark. And emotional and social behavior, as far as it is concerned, they have very low self confidence. They don't believe in themselves, and they feel
Yeah.
inadequate when they compare themselves to others also. And parents contribute a lot of to this kind of developing this kind of low self confidence in children by constantly comparing their child with the neighboring child or children who are sitting next to them. This is a very, very negative parenting practice. They should not do this, and this will go to build up the strengthen the feeling of low self confidence in the children. And they will be sitting very withdrawn, passive, as if they are inside a shell. They get very easily frustrated when challenging tasks are given. They look very vexed, frustrated, like the depressed, all those things. And they show a lot of dependency on teachers, unless they will be every time they will be looking onto the teachers, or they will be asking their peers, their children sitting to next. They will not be able to exist independently on their own in the class. They will be always looking this side or that side, and this will affect their pace of learning. Okay, and what are now coming to the causes of slow learning? The causes of slow learning, there are many. Okay, in part one, we'll be dealing about psychological factors, depression, introvertism, etc. Some children feel or they have some kind of inherent issue. They go into depression very often, and some children are very introverts. They don't interact with other people very freely. These are some of the traits which which if it is in a milder proportion, it can be dealt with by non-professionals. But if it is too deep and persistent, and it assumes a pathological dimension, then only it needs expert intervention. Maybe some psychologists may be required to deal with this. And learning disabilities also contribute to slow learning. Learning disabilities definitely slow the pace of learning in the students. There is something called as dyslexia, dysgraphia, ADHD, etc., etc. These are dyslexia. I think you must have heard these terms. And since due to paucity of time, I'm not going deep into these things. Maybe teachers, interested teachers, can Google it or find out what they are and how it will impact learning. But it is very important for the teachers to find out if the child is suffering from any learning disability. So you have to definitely focus on that aspect also. And low cognitive ability. Some children have some inherent low cognitive ability, and of course, it can be removed by proper support and training. And they naturally need more time to grasp abstract concepts, which the teacher should be able to give. And poor memory retention. Many children have memory issues, and they recalling information, etc. These memory issues can be effectively dealt with
even by the teacher or by an expert. Okay, it's not a very difficult task, it's not at all order. Then we continue causes the environmental and instructional factors. There are a lot of environmental and instructional factors. They are for example, to take the teaching methods. Teaching methods, some teachers might be using very fast-paced or abstracted teaching. I've seen some teachers speaking so fast or so slow, or teaching in a um, very abstract or complicated manner. This will not suit the learners. It may affect even the gifted children, and the children it will have a very negative effect impact on children who already have this slow learning problem. So the teaching method may be one important cause itself. We the teachers have to look inwards for this. Then classroom environment. Sometimes the classroom environment itself may be very distracting or unsupportive. And it may be the school or classroom might be located in a busy market area where a lot of outside noise is coming, and there may be some loudspeakers blaring outside, which the sound reaching the classroom, etc. Or there might be a noisy classroom next to this classroom. There are a lot of things that can affect the mind of the child. So the classroom environment should be taken into consideration. And home environment, that is a very critical, plays a very critical role. Lack of parental support, resource, encouragement, etc. Now, parent, that of course, it's a very big topic. How a parent can support a child. Most of the parents support the child materially, but they do not support the child mentally. So that impacts the child negatively very much. And unless and otherwise there is a good parental support, the child will definitely suffer. And we have seen lot of evidences, lot of case studies. Even I have made a lot of case studies in which I have seen the problem lies with the parent, whereas the school is good, the teacher is good, the learning methods are good, everything is good, but still the child is not learning properly. And on deeper analysis, on deeper scrutiny, we find the parental support is lacking. So this is a very important thing. Then what the teachers can do is that analyze, and if they find that parental support is not good, it is better call the parent and talk to them, counsel them. If the parents are unsupportive, they are not coming forward, no harm in going to the home, to visit the house of the child and talk to the parent. I have done this. So we should not lag behind. We should not feel lazy as far as this is concerned, because ultimately, when the students perform well, it is taken as a good performance by the teacher itself. Okay, so we have a moral duty of doing this. Then peer pressure. Sometimes the children get impacted by their own friends, and there may be children who are having good learning capacity. Some children who have learn a lower confidence, and the company they keep definitely impacts the child. Okay, and this is another problem which we face. The company in which they keep, that also impacts the children most of the time. Okay, and there is one more thing, very important. It is modern. It is the problem of the modern times. That is digital distraction. Now, every child spends a lot of time meddling with their digital gadgets, particularly the mobile phones, particularly the laptops, then music systems. So many things are happening. This is what we call as a digital distraction. They play video games. We cannot say video games are sorry, all that bad. But all these things will lead to anxiety, sleep disruption, and reduced economic work. And now this word Zen is very popular, is it not? This Zen is people are people who are born between 1997.
under 2012. So their age group will be between 14 to 29. As far as our educational scenario is concerned, 14 is the age the child comes to class 9, and rest of the time it is spent in school, college, and then into the society, etc. And this is the time there is constant use of smartphones, heavy reliance on social media, and algorithm driven feeds, and they are always in touch with these things, and they have highest risk is they have mental definitely they suffer some mental health issues. And though there are certain positive aspects of using social media and other gadgets, but the negative impact is more than the positive impact. And dealing with this digital distraction, you may ask, sir, how to deal with this? It is there everywhere. How to when I see these children are how it is not happening in the classroom. Every teacher will say, sir, this is happening in my own house. And sorry to say, some even teachers are they are victims of this digital distraction. As a human being, they spend a lot of time in social media. It is good. Social media has got lot of very useful things to learn. We have very useful things to learn from social media. I don't deny, but getting addicted to it is not good. Now there is a new disease nowadays. It is called as FOMO. What is called as FOMO? Fear of missing out. They want to be always in touch with the internet. They want to know what is happening around them in their town, in their state, in their country, and even all over the world. They may not be knowing what is happening in their house, but if you ask them what is happening in New York or America, they will say, "Sir, Netanyahu is going to New York, and Mamadani want to arrest him." All these things they will say. But if you ask them what is happening in their own house and what is the next test that is coming up in the classroom, they'll keep thinking. So this is what is called as FOMO, fear of missing out.
Okay.
And this is a very big disease that yeah, modern disease that we are dealing with, and we have to think how to deal with these things. So what we can do is we can enforce a digital hygiene routines. Now, this much of hours, we can say you should not touch any phone or any digital gadget, and a reward can be given to the child. And when this is called as, and we can develop study blocks on mindfulness and ask the children not to touch any gadget during this thing, and some monitoring may be done and some reward also may be given for this. And we have to develop growth mindset framing, and we have to train them in attention skill that can be we can try to teach attention skill. And it can be trained. There are a lot of things the children can learn. The study skills, study habits. There are so many things. They all can be taught. They can once the teacher is trained in developing these things. Yeah, the teacher can easily transfer these skills to the students also. Peer accountability, group challenges, even among the children, they can have this kind of challenges. I will not touch my mobile for this many time. No scroll, no study hour. This much study hour I will not touch. I will not do any scrolling work. So this kind of things we can introduce. But of course, there is lot to be done. Lot of research is required how to safeguard our children from this digital distraction. It is an endless topic, endless title, but I leave it to the teachers, to creative teachers, imaginative teachers, to find more effective methods of dealing with this digital distraction, which our children are rampantly suffering to these days. And of course, um, next, there are physical and health factors. Some children do not eat properly. Not some children, most of the children these days do not eat properly. Inadequate, and they have to, and moreover, the school timings also is a culprit. Sometimes the school start very early and they don't have time even to take their breakfast properly. This definitely affects their concentration, energy, particularly when they don't, when their body does not receive nutrients, trace elements, micronutrients, vitamins, and there are so many other things. These things are not
supplied to our body. Our body is a biological machine. It requires enough proper fuel. If that is not given, definitely it will affect concentration and energy. And health issues. Some children suffer from chronic illness, hearing or vision problems. And many times the teachers or parents do not recognize this, or they don't have time to observe the children properly and see what they are suffering from. So this chronic illness also and hearing or vision problems also might be a factor. And these things should be dealt with effectively by the parent first and then by the teacher. Teacher should be able to analyze and identify and spot the problems and report to the parent so that the parent will be able to respond appropriately for these issues. And sleep deprivation, lack of rest also reduces attention span and memory. And nowadays, these some children are looking mobile, they are using mobile up to 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Some children are tied to their laptop doing this and that well into the midnight. This will definitely reduce their time of resting time, and it will affect their attention span and memory. Particularly, it affects their memory very profoundly. And emotional factors, low motivation or interest. Some children lack a curiosity. They don't want to learn things. Their mind is in playing fun games, etc. This also will reduce their their ability to learn fast. And lack of trust in teachers. See, the teachers have should build first trust in the minds of the children. And I have a small anecdote regarding this. Okay. Um, when I was a teacher, I was living in an apartment where there was a we had I had a neighbor in my apartment, and that it was a small family, husband, wife, and two children, a boy and a girl. And the boy was studying in a primary section, class 3 in the school where I was a teacher, same school, and the girl was studying in the high school, 7th standard or something like that. And after school hours, I used to come home and take rest and sometimes take a cup of tea after reaching home. And then it was those time the new color TVs were introduced, so it was exciting to see the color TV in color. So I used to sit in front of the TV and surf TV channels, and whichever channel gives some good programs like movies or songs, etc. I used to see. After that, when I was channel surfing like this, that boy next door used to come, and once he comes, I used to stop seeing TV, and then we will start playing chess. And this was going on for many days and many months. So on one particular day, same thing happened when I was sitting. I came from school, having a cup of tea, and switched on the TV and surfing the channels. The same boy came, and he just looked into me, looked my face, and then he looked at the screen of the TV, and then suddenly he twitched his face and ran away. And I could not understand why he is doing like this. So he didn't turn up at all. Then after some time, I went for my own work. The next day also he didn't turn up, and for continuously for another 1 week time they did not turn up. I was feeling little bad because I used to love and I enjoy playing with chess with that guy. Mostly he will win, I will not win, and I was losing to a boy of class 3. He was more intelligent than me. You do not know where intelligence lies. It can be there anywhere. Okay, and I started feeling little empty also. What is this? What happened to this boy? Then I told my wife to find out by talking to his mother. Why is he unhappy with me? ये बच्चा क्यों नाराज हो गया हमसे? थोड़ा जो इस उनका माँ से बात करके पता कर लो. तो मालूम कर लो, मैंने उनको बोला. Then she went and spoke to his mother and asked. His mother also was very surprised. Why he called? She called the boy and asked, "Arey beta, why you are not going to Sar's house? You are not playing with him. What happened?" The boy said, no, I will not be going and playing with him anymore. And the mother insisted, why? Tell me, why are you not going? But the boy told, sir is not a good person. And the mother was shocked. Yes, sir is such a godly person, nice person. Everybody says salams, good morning, good evening when he walks in the street. What happened? Why do you say that he is not a good person? And the boy told, when I went to see him the other day, he was watching TV. He told, of course, everybody watches TV. What is the problem? And he told, sir was not watching DD. He was watching some private channel where some girls are dancing. See, now, at that point of time, on that particular day, I remembered I was seeing some channel, channel. There are a lot of channels, good channels, all entertainment channels. And it so happened on that particular point of time, in that particular minute, I was seeing a particular channel where some girls were dancing. And then I had, of course, changed changed the channels or means we keep on changing channels. But the boy thought that I am seeing that channel and he went to his mother and then he went, his mind became closed and now he is telling his mother, sir should not see any other channel except DD channel. See, so this is the kind of mental image children have on a teacher. Then I realized my mistake. Then I stopped seeing this kind of channels where children are, where girls are dancing or singing, etc. I started seeing only good channels like National Geographic or DD channel or no, other channels where maybe some movies, etc., etc. Now, what I mean to say, this single act, this small incident had undermined the trust the boy had on me. Okay, he started moving away from me. He started hating me. So that is why I'm telling you, some children fall into slow learning because the children expect the teacher to behave in in a particular manner. They consider teacher as a godly being. If the teacher is not fitting into the child's mental frame, they lose the trust on the teacher. And when they lose the trust on the teacher, they hate the teacher. When they hate the teacher, they hate the subject. When they hate the subject, they become slow learners. Simple. Okay, lack of trust is very important for the teachers. They should build this trust in the mind of the children. Safe environment, of course. Nowadays, lot of things are happening. Bad things are happening everywhere, and it is very sorry to say it is happening in the schools also. So I'm not blaming anybody or any teachers. No offenses meant, but school has the onus of making the child feel safe and comfortable is on the school, the management and the teachers. Please don't forget it. And the mental stress and trauma, it may be contributed by the teacher, it may be contributed by the peers, it may be contributed by the parents. And this also is a very factor, and a good teacher will try to find out what happened, where the problem lies. Okay, then of course, there are other things also, the causes. So we have so many other things. Of course, I cannot list everything here. As far as possible, I have tried to put it in a nutshell here. Now, how to identify and assess the children who are suffering this kind of slow learning? It is very easy to find out slow learners. For a trained teacher, a experienced teacher can very easily find out even by simple observation. And of course, there are some curriculum-based measures. We can have some standardized checks and formative feedback, conducting small assessments in between, and try to some personalized assessments also. You can develop some multiple data points, screening scores, work samples, and personal observation, etc. You can have some formal screening also, like IEP evaluations, that is individualized education program evaluations, and there also you can find out the child is showing all the symptoms of slow learning. We have shown discussed the indicators already. So we have, when we track the progress of the child in a particular subject and keep portfolios, that also will give us a fair idea about why is slow learning or who are the slow learners. Okay, then let us move forward. There are a lot of key methods. Now we can have checklists, and we can observe the child daily, and we can we can work on this checklist. Now, there are a lot of methods like curriculum-based measurement is tracking progress on core skills. Diagnostic assessment, particularly error analysis, is a very useful tool. And when an examination is over, the so people who are the teacher perceives as a slow learners, their answer scripts can be taken, and we can do an error analysis and find out where the child is continuously contained, in which curriculum areas the child is not able to perform well, where the child is committing most of the errors, and from this error analysis we can try to compensate for the lagging the child has, and thus thereby try to improve their slow learning, the solve, I mean, help the child in overcoming the slow learning. Okay, and there are a lot more supports, particularly the emotional aspect. And we have to boost confidence and through emotional safety. Some teachers are very judgmental. You have to provide a non-judgmental. If one particular child is a slow learner, one point of time, he is branded as a slow learner throughout the year. Judgmental. It becomes a, they pass a judgment which runs through the year or the entire stay of the child in the school. So we require positive environment. The teacher should be very careful about how she speaks and what are the words she is using in the classrooms. And whatever small steps the child takes towards progress, the teacher should use positive sounding words. I like what you did, very good progress. Don't you call me Mehuna, I am there only to help you. Like that. And the teacher should try to celebrate even small wins. If the child has got 10 marks extra than what the child got in the previous examination, it is a small win for the child. But if it's celebrated, it becomes a win for the child, a big victory for the child, and boosts the child's self-confidence and reduces anxiety. And we have to show empathy. Empathy is very important. So empathy is what? Seeing others' problem from their point of view. If you can try to put yourself in the shoes of a student and then see the problem in from their eyes, from their point of view, we will encounter so many problems which you never imagined, and then you can take proper steps to tackle with them. Okay, that requires a lot of empathy and personalized learning approaches. There are a lot of personalized learning approaches also, particularly the learning multisensory methods are there. That is, you have to provide stimulus to all the five senses. Okay, as teachers, we provide stimuli only to two senses, that is audio and visuals. So most of the time we use audio visual aids. We use Blackboard. We use charts. We use models. We use PowerPoint presentations. All these things. What are the senses we stimulate? We stimulate only audio. That is their audio sensation and visual sensation. But there is a smell, touch, and the five senses. And taste sense under that. There are so three more senses, but we do not give any. We don't provide any stimuli for these things. Of course, every lesson may not have scope for that. But why don't you try to use such methods which will stimulate all their five senses? And top of all, we call human beings have sixth sense. When we are not catering even to two senses, and what about the sixth sense? And the sixth sense is the hallmark of human beings. And no school is trying to nurture or provide, stimulate that sixth sense. And you can do this lot of things, not only by audio visual things. You can give them hands-on activities. You can do them storytelling. There are a lot of experiencing. There are a lot of explorative experiencing methods where the child will get first-hand experience. For example, when you talk about an apple, why don't you give an apple in the small classes? We talk about A for apple. Why don't you make the child feel an apple? and by giving the apple to the child. And we say the apples are usually sweet. Why don't you make the child eat the apple and taste it and then understand whether what the teacher is talking about. So these are the some of the personalized learning approaches, and extra time should be provided to the children, and without making it a penalty. So sometimes teachers say you go and stand in the back of the class and complete the problem I gave you. That looks like a punishment. It is not providing no, positive. It is not a positive practice. So there are this is what we call as personalized learning approaches. And we have to encourage emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? It is a big topic. And this emotional intelligence is nothing but handling your emotions intelligently. First thing, this emotional intelligence, the teacher should learn, because inside a class, the teacher faces a lot of stressful. Um, it is a stressful experience going and teaching class, teaching children. Sometimes the classes go well, sometimes classes doesn't go well. So it is a very stressful environment. So first, the teacher should equip himself or herself with emotional intelligence and try to put that in practice, and also try to transfer this intelligence to their children, to their student also. So this is gives a calming effect for the children, and teachers can deal with the students' frustration with some deep breathing, short breaks, and allowing them to move around instead of sitting in the same place, and allowing them to talk with their peers to for collaborative purposes and all those things. And navigating classroom dynamics with empathy and clarity is very important. And mindset oriented practices. See,
இதுல
the,
போயிடுங்க.
the child, the teacher should.
பண்ணிக்கிறா. ஒரு வேலைக்குள்ள பசங்களோட ஆக்டிவிட்டிக்கு
Hello. No, I have unmuted. Now, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, somehow inadvertently. So there is something called as growth-oriented mindset. What is growth-oriented mindset? Growth-oriented mindset means that is the belief in the ability, intelligence, and talents can be developed through effort, learning, perseverance, and rather than being fixed traits. Some people have fixed mindset and they don't grow at all. They don't transform themselves into better, in developing better traits. That is not growth oriented. Now, this growth oriented mindset, we can introduce this to the children also. That is, you can tell the slow learners, the slow learning is not a permanent problem. You can improve, you can develop, you can become smart, and they give them some small achievable goals so that they go forward and achieve them and become happy and confident. So developing this growth oriented mindset in the minds of the slow learners also gives wonderful outcomes, gives wonderful results. And as I have been telling again and again, try to reduce anxiety. Proper instructions, unless otherwise you make clear what do you expect from the child. You set goals and you set they are clear in you give clear instructions. And then if the child is not doing things properly, it is not the child's fault. You are not given clear instructions. If you are not given clear instructions, you cannot blame the child for not performing clearly. So you have to take this into consideration. You should reduce uncertainty. You should not leave the child in confusion, and allow the child to move around. As I told you, that will reduce the stress of the child. Some teachers want the perfect law and order in the classroom. They don't want to see their children look even right side or left side. Even they want the students to say the teacher's face or the blackboard. They start saying this side and that side, the teachers gets mad. The teacher starts shouting at the child. This happens. I'm not complaining everybody, but I have seen this happening. And this will only develop some mental blocks for the children. So don't do this, please. It is not that everybody is doing, but if in case somebody is doing it inadvertently, please avoid this. And emotional intelligence in action, that's what I told you. First, you should practice emotional intelligence and you should use positive words. You should try to introduce positive growth mindset to the children, and also develop a good amount of resilience in the mind of the child. And you should teach them how to handle their emotions intelligently. Emotional intelligence is a very big topic. It's a separate topic. Maybe if time permits and opportunity comes, I will talk about that in length. And there's a wonderful book titled Emotional Intelligence, written by Daniel Goleman. In those who are interested in this one very interesting topic of emotional intelligence should read this book. I repeat, the name of the book is title of the book is Emotional Intelligence. The author's name is Daniel Goleman. Okay. Please try to find out this book and read. Teacher's role in mood management. That is another very important thing. I have seen teachers in the staff room. When they are in staff room, they are very happy. They are in a very good mood. They talk with their staff colleagues in a very cheerful manner. They cut, they cut jokes and all that. But once the bell goes, the teacher is going to the class. Yes, madam. Can I proceed? Hello? Can I proceed? Okay, I am proceeding. Okay. So teachers, so once they are so happy, they are so cheerful, though they are so fun-loving when they are in the staff room. But once they enter inside the classroom, their entire
Saleem
mood
sir.
changes. Please, who
Saleem
is
sir,
talking?
Tamil mix பண்ணலாம் சொல்றார். Put it in chat, he will see.
Hello, I keep hearing some voices. Can I proceed?
Yes, sir, you can proceed.
Yeah, see, that's what the teacher is in a very good mood in staff room. But the moment the teacher goes and enters inside the classroom, the entire mood of the teacher changes. The beautiful face they had in the classroom becomes a very harsh face when they inside the classroom. Okay, and the way the teacher's face looks, that itself starts threatening the child, mind of the child. I do not know why this kind of double role the teachers are playing. I do not know. They are very good in playing these dual roles. Very fun-loving, very cheerful inside the staff room. But once you go inside the classroom, the mood impact entirely different, the facial expression entirely different, the voice is entirely different, the voice modulation is entirely different. It is very commanding, it is harsh, all those things. It is a very sad state of affairs. Because managing student moods comes only by modeling positive emotions and regulating their own feelings and creating supportive classroom environments on teachers. So it is not important when you go to class to carry lesson plans. If you know that the class which you are going to handle is a very stressful class, it is a very challenging group of children to deal with, you should already go with an emotional plan instead of going for a lesson plan. You should go with a pre-plan how you are going to conduct yourself, how you are going to emotionally manage yourself, how you are going to mentally respond to the situation there. This lesson plan, it is more important than a lesson plan because your mood is very contagious. It will affect the children. And this kind of contagion spreads like a disease. So, and apart from that, there are certain class strategies for academic support. We spoke about the mood management. Now we are coming to academic support. What are the academic support? There is something called as differentiated instruction. That is, you the pace for different children. Of course, it is time consuming. It may put an extra burden on you, but you can still try. You can develop some different materials, and you can design some different tasks. You can also decide different paces for this kind of children with the simplified text, stepwise instruction, and visual organizers. This of course, will requires a little more of extra efforts, but if you are very sincere in solving the problem of slow learning, you have to do all these things. Scaffolding and chunking means supporting, making your material should be supported with even with the good solid concrete things, and also the curriculum area, the curriculum parts of a particular lesson, the particular subject can be broken into small pieces, small chunks, and fed to the child in a paced manner. And the formative feedback, conducting tests, small tests, not at the end of a session, but in the even at the end of a class, you can kind of conduct a small 2 minutes test, 1 minute test. I have done that. Used to call it slip tests. After I finish my class, I used to give at the end I used to give only 10 minutes at the end of the class, and I used to give 10 questions only, and giving 1 minute to respond to each of this question. Very simple questions, requires only one word answers, and I give them 10 minutes to finish it. And this gives me a wonderful feedback of what I taught in that 40 minutes. In that 40 minutes, 30 minutes I teach, 10 minutes slip test, and then my next class will be based on the feedback I get from this small slip test, this formative test I conducted at the end of the previous class. This is a wonderful technique, tried, tested, and very successful. Okay. And there are other things like peer tutoring. Sometimes you are not able to handle the child yourself. There are some good children, intelligent children, competitive children, competent children, gifted children. You can put the slow learners in the care of that child and ask the child, the peer, to tutor them. It has happened. It very successfully we have tried. Multisensory methods, I already told. We combine visual, auditory, kinesthetic activities, particularly in reading, writing, etc., and to strengthen encoding and recall. Then progress monitoring, that is curriculum-based monitoring. Whatever is there in the prescribed curriculum in specific subjects, you can find out. You can try to find out how the child is progressing by some interventions, and thereupon you can adjust your strategies. And more support. We will be talking about more support. I told you already about this emotional contagions. See, your emotion is very contagious. It is something like a contagious disease, but in a positive manner. If you are cheerful, the child will be cheerful. If you are moody, the child will be moody. If you are showing anger and frustration, that will infect the child. So this emotional contagion should be contained. It should be avoided. And you should always exhibit positive emotions, enthusiasm, curiosity, etc. And the teachers must regulate their own emotions. You should try to be in charge of your own emotions. When the child is irritating you, there is a stressful environment. You yourself is in a kind of anxiety, and these things should not show up in a classroom. Okay, you should try to regulate your own emotions. You should try to your own emotions outside the classroom when you enter into the class. You should become a thorough professional inside a classroom, but with human touch. Okay, so this is what I wanted to insist. And a lot of academic support. That is what you have to create a safe environmental climate, emotional climate. And about emotional intelligence, I have spoken already in length. And see, this is a small table. This is a small table, comparison table. What will be the impact of what the teacher doing inside the classroom. For example, if teacher is showing positive emotions, somebody is talking all the time. Who is that, madam? So please avoid talking. It is disturbing me. Okay, okay. So the role of the teacher, if the teacher shows positive emotions, what will be the impact? The impact will be the child will have more motivation and engagement. And how can this be done, showing positive emotion? The teacher should smile. Whatever smile she was doing in other places, that smile disappears when the teacher goes inside the class. That is a very sad thing. It is very tragic. The teacher should keep smiling all the time, and that smile itself will create a lot of beautiful outcomes, very positive outcomes, and emotion regulation. So sometimes, teacher gets emotional. That should not happen. The teacher should try to reframe her emotions, reframe his emotions, and try to stay positive and stress free. This also makes the children stress free. And when you create a safe climate, creation, emotional climate, safe inside the classroom, it encourages participation. In a non threatening atmosphere, children will be feeling confident and they will start participating actively, and it will reduce their anxiety also. Otherwise, the child will go into a shell if there is a threatening atmosphere. So this can be done only when you do some respectful communication with the children. I have seen teachers mocking students. I have seen teachers threatening children with very harsh words. I have seen teachers insulting the children many times. These things will not create a safe environment for the child. The child will feel threatened, very, very frustrated. And modeling emotional intelligence, as I told you, teacher himself or herself should be an epitome of emotional intelligence, exhibit emotional intelligence. And this will build a lot of resilience in the child, and he will be able to handle any kind of situation, any kind of emotion, and try to come out of it in a very intelligent way. Okay, actionable takeaways for teachers. See, prepare self-care to sustain emotional balance. First, teachers should try to stay calm. Teaching is not a easy job. Some people used to say teaching is the most easy job in the world. See, when I was a teacher, when I go to, everybody knows, teachers know, we get about 40 to 50 days of paid holiday during the summer vacation. So whenever I get a summer vacation, I go to visit my relatives, and my brother-in-law who is in his village. When I go to visit him during my vacation along with my family to go there and take rest for a week or 10 days, my brother-in-law used to mock me. He used to say, "Arey bhaiya, aga, now you 50 days of paid holiday for you. You are in a very comfortable job. You are a lucky fellow. Being a teacher is the most lucky. I mean, only lucky person will be a teacher. You are getting so much of rest, so much of salary, and so now 50 days complete rest." So he used to mock me like this, and I used to tell him, "Bhaiya, you come with me and try to teach one classroom with me, and then you will understand what the teaching is." So definitely, I used to tell him, "Do you, brother-in-law, do you know teaching is the most dangerous job in the world? Teaching is the most dangerous job in the world, because when you go inside the classroom, you will not know what kind of challenges will come. See, it is like almost going to the battlefront. Okay, into a combat area. If you are a soldier, if you go to a battle area, the enemy will start firing at you. Okay, the bullets will come this side, and one bullet is enough to close you. You will be over. That's all. But when you go inside the classroom, you will not know how many bullets will come to you. That is in the form of intelligent questions from the children, for which for some we know answers, for some we do not know answers. And we cannot cut a sorry figure in front of the children. We have to balance, we have to manage, we have to come out with our prestige intact. So teaching is not an easy job, but yeah, teaching is the most dangerous job in the world. Then only you used to realize Okay, yes, what you say is correct, brother-in-law. I did not understand what teaching is. So for that, we have to maintain lot of emotional balance. It is not an easy job. And we have to use positive reinforcement to flip the classlet mode. You should use positive sentences. Yes, good, nice, you are smart, you are good children, you can do better. I expected the very better performances from you, and you are capable of that. You can do it. You can win. You are good children. Like that, you have to use only positive words, positive reinforcements, and allow children to talk to you feelingly. In many classrooms, I found it is only monologue. There won't be any dialogue. If at all any child dares to speak to the teacher, then the teacher immediately snaps the child and says, "Sit down. You don't know anything. Listen to me." These are the things that is happening. I am not talking out of context, or because I've been in the field of education for last 38 years, not 1 year or 2 years. So I have seen everything that is happening inside the classroom, and I have been a teacher for nearly 17, 18 years. And I have seen my peers, some mistakes I myself have committed. I do not say that I am all that perfect, because now I understand that that kind of behavior was not good. Now I learned from my mistakes, and that is why I am talking to you only because of the concern for the teaching fraternity, that this kind of mistake should not be repeated by anybody in any time, either to now or in future. Okay, my love for the teaching profession is very profound, and my heart always lies with teaching, and I'm always with the teachers. And I always can talk. I work very closely with the teachers and students, and it is my earnest desire and that the teaching fraternity should do their job, do justice to their job, and try to. We are in the process of nation building, not just teaching. This we should understand. And this applying growth mindset, as I told you, use proper language and drive away the fears the children are having. So the child's mood is depending upon this to teacher's mood. This I am repeating you because some things are they need to be repeated for reinforcement. And a study which was conducted by Lee and his colleagues very clearly found out that the teacher, the whatever emotions the teacher show inside a classroom, it strongly shapes how the students feel, and it impacts their academic performance also. Okay, now coming to the advice for slow learners. Now you should pass this advice to the children. That is why I am talking about this. Please share this with your slow learners. See, for example, don't use discouraging words to the slow learners, and tell these things in a very positive, in a calm, quiet, in a loving, affectionate manner. So tell the child, believe in your own pace. You are slow, not a problem. Not all are same. It's like 5 fingers of a hand. They are of different shape, they're different size, and even little different shapes also sometimes. Learning slowly does not mean you are less capable. These things you keep on reporting to them. And you tell them you are not capable. You are not less competent. You are in no way you are less than others. Okay, हम किसी से कम नहीं. Ask the child to feel like that. हम किसी से कम नहीं. You should understand we are not less than anybody. Only thing we have a slight difficulty in pacing, in keeping the pace with others, and that we will be definitely able to make up. And you have to tell them that you are not less capable, and you need only little more time to process and understand deeply, which I am ready to give you. I am always with you. Okay, and you try to tell this to your children, and let them feel this. Okay, then you have to break tasks into smaller steps, and you that is your job, and the child also will learn doing it. Even if you give one job in a bulk job, he will learn to break it into small steps and then complete it as fast as possible. And use of multisensory learning, use all your senses to learn. And that kind of experience the teacher has to provide. And you should encourage the students to question. Many times, the children are not given the freedom of questioning at all. If the question is slightly tricky, the teacher tries to evade or escape, saying that it is out of syllabus. I have seen this. Nothing is out of syllabus. Nothing under the sun is out of syllabus. The student is asking questions only related to what is being taught in the class. So how will it be out of question? Out of syllabus. So these things should not happen. The children should be given the liberty of asking questions without any fear, and they should be encouraged to practice consistently. They tell them, see, repetition. The neurobiologists, they have told if you practice, if you repeat anything, it becomes a part of your brain. Okay, unless otherwise you practice and repeat again and again, it will never enter into your brain. And once you start practicing and repeating, the neurobiologists say their networking, the
ஐசி
brain
வந்துருமா
networking
நாங்க
is increasing.
ஆஃபி
Okay,
1 o'clock
celebrate small
போகணும்
wins.
ஹஸ்பண்ட் வந்துருவாரு
Celebrate small wins, which I told you already. Develop growth mindset, practice resilience. This resilience, what is the meaning of this word resilience? The word resilience means that persisting, perseverance, whatever happens, the spirit of not giving up, putting up with the difficulties, putting up with the discomforts, putting up with the failures, but not giving up. That is called as resilience. This kind of resilience we have to develop in our children. That is one very important trait on one side, and it is an important skill also other side. The teacher should understand resilience is not a trait for students alone. It is a lifelong trait, the lifelong skill any human being has to learn, because the life is full of challenges. Life is full of setbacks. Life is full of failures and success, thick and thin, ups and downs. So developing resilience will be of great help in dealing with all kinds of situations. Okay, so final encouragement. Slow learning is deep learning. So you should try to tell your students, Baba, don't worry. Slow learning is not all that bad. It is deep learning. You are taking only little more time to learn. So that means you are learning it more deeply than others. So you can quote the examples of Albert Einstein and Thomas Alva Edison and Charles Darwin. These are some very popular names. There are a lot of others, celebrities, scientists, philosophers who have been considered as slow learners at some point of time in their life. For example, Albert Einstein started speaking only at the age of 3. And when he was in school, the teachers used to complain all the time to his parents that he is not learning properly. But if anybody asks who is the most intelligent scientist of all times in the history of the world, everybody will say it is Albert Einstein. You may not know, he is the father of even atomic energy. He only first found out through his equation E is equal to mc squared. So what does it talk about? It is about energy that is embedded in matter. Okay, so he is the person who introduced the idea of atomic energy to the world of science. And Edison, we know, he had 1,000 patents against his name. And Charles Darwin, whether you agree with him or not agree with, gave a philosophy, gave a theory that upturned the world. And the perception of the entire origin of life changed with this theory of natural selection. So, but these people, brilliant people, once upon a time they have been slow learners. So you have to share this with the slow learners, encourage them, ask them to matter, and ask them to be consistent, resilient, and have belief on themselves. And risks, limitations, and practical cautions. What are the risks? That is premature labeling. Please don't label the child, the slow learner, as a slow learner. Don't even tell the child that you are a slow learner. If you tell the child, child, beta, you are a slow learner, don't worry. Don't use the word slow learner at all. As I told you already, slow learning is an outdated term. You tell the child that you need little help to learn fast. That's all. You are deep learning. You are not learning slowly. You are deep learning. You need some little extra time. I will give you. You can make up. You can be as good as others. That is what you have to do. These are some of the that labeling, being judgmental should be totally avoided. Then assessment bias. Sometimes when the teacher starts teaching or starts assessing, correcting the papers of these children, they already have a preconceived notion this child is a slow learner, not a good learner. So the child will only get bad marks. So they blindly start correcting their answer scripts and start giving low marks, even if they write good answers. This is also a matter of judgment, and it is an bias. There should not be any bias in assessment as far as teachers are concerned. Teachers should be totally impartial, non-judgmental. What is there, you assess and give marks, give the scores it deserves. No bias. Okay. And resource limits. Of course, teachers have to do lot of preparations and requires planning. And there are a lot of high impact practices that require to deal with these slow learners. And it requires some extra preparation, extra time. And it is worth it. Okay. And other considerations, slow learning is not due to a single factor. It is a combination of cognitive, emotional, environmental, and physical influences, and you have to provide proper support to reduce anxiety. Don't label the children and dwell on the individual unique strengths of the child. A slow learner may be a good sportsman. He may be a good artist. Okay, try to capitalize on that instead of focusing on his this is slow learning problem. That if the child is performing well in other areas, naturally it will boost his confidence and he will do good in his studies also. He will try to compensate in his studies also. Okay, so screenings, progressing, 6-week monitoring cycle you can make, and you can record it and try to help these children. And slow learners just need more time and support, supportive environment, and we have to address their individual needs, and they have to celebrate small wins, and we have to give them different kinds of learning experiences. And you break the steps into small manageable steps. This I am summarizing. Okay, it's a kind of synopsis summarizing whatever I've been speaking for the last 1 hour. And we have to use appropriate technology. Now, technology also is of great help and support. Now that artificial intelligence have come, there are a lot of gadgets and tools and educational softwares that can help in dealing with this problem. And reinforcing classroom learning is also very important. And a teacher of the future. Who is a teacher of the future? Today, teacher is expected to be not only just going to class, talk and talk method, give teach lessons, come back and conduct a test, then prepare mark list and give it to the principal. That is not the role of the teacher now. The teacher is expected to be a multi-dimensional personality these days. The teacher has to be an educator, has to be a facilitator, has to be an entertainer, a skill trainer, a presenter, storyteller, techno-savvy content creator, editor, performer, amateur counselor, because you have to do when the child is depressed or introvert and not not finding in a good mood. You have to do some kind of counseling also to the child. And so you have to be an amateur counselor. You have to learn the tenets of counseling also. And a career guide, you have to guide the student in selecting appropriate career also in future, depending upon the aptitude. And also definitely a child is psychologist, because there are a lot of emotional needs and issues the child face when he is or she is growing up. This is the reality and the demands of our times and future. You cannot simply forget this and run away from this. If you are a serious teacher, you have to consider all these dimensions very seriously. Try to equip yourself, and then only you can survive in this field of education in future. Otherwise, we will perish. we will become a extinct species, and we are already an endangered species because all artificial intelligence is coming in a big way, and it has started replacing teachers in many schools. So this is an existential crisis. Teaching fraternity is facing an existential crisis nowadays. So if you want to be relevant, if you want to be a person who is cannot be dispensed with, you have to develop all these qualities, and then only we will be able to handle the future without any fear. Okay, and last but not least, a teacher has to be a role model. Unless otherwise you model, you start you remain a model for all these good things you are trying to teach to the students. When you say be emotionally balanced, so how can these children learn emotional balance from you if you are not emotionally balanced? So if you say, please speak truth, be calm, be quiet, try to be resilient, take failures in your own stride, be a winner, be confident, be cheerful. All these things, when you tell the children, they will not take it to their heart unless otherwise you exhibit this. You to be a role model. You need that needs modeling. And if you are not modeling all these traits, you are not modeling all these skills, if you are not modeling all these abilities, the child will not learn anything from you. So you have to be a you have to be a mobile model of all that you are trying to teach the child and educate the child. Unless otherwise, this is done, no, children will not learn anything. I will tell you one thing. I was weak in mathematics, and I had found it very difficult in overcoming this weakness in mathematics. Now, at the second thought, now after being grown up, when I try to analyze why I was weak in mathematics, now I understand I was weak in mathematics because of the kind of treatment I got from my maths teacher long back. No offenses meant. She is a good human being, a very competent maths teacher, and nobody can beat her in her subject knowledge. But at the same time, sometimes she used to threaten. Maybe because she wanted us to perform, and she used to threaten, and she used to mock, sometimes mock also, and this created a big gap between the students and the teacher, and particularly I was one of the victims, and I developed some kind of hatred towards that teacher. And when I started hating the teacher, I started hating mathematics itself. So that is what will happen. If a student starts hating the teacher, it will develop into the hatred for a particular subject. And if the hatred becomes very severe, the child will not learn properly. The child will lose interest in the subject. It should lose interest in the learning process itself. Okay, then this will develop into what is called as slow learning, low performance, low scores, etc. So unless otherwise you yourself try to shape yourself or model yourself into a role model, nothing is going to happen positively in your classroom. A teacher affects eternity. Try to understand it. This is what I wanted to give you as a parting message, my dear teachers. And teachers, they should not be partial. They should take every children as equals. They should give enough freedom to the children, and the teacher should himself should be a epitome of discipline, kindness, curiosity, helping attitude, all these things. Otherwise, children will not learn anything from you. Okay, and build a trust by being role models. That is what I already told you again and again. And this is a kind of a sum up which I have already done. Okay, now as a concluding part, I would like to leave this statement with you. Good teachers aren't remembered for what the syllabus they covered. What syllabus you taught, they are not going to remember. The lessons they taught, whatever lessons you taught, history, geography, mathematics, science, the lessons you taught, but they are not, you will not be remembered for all these things. The Boyle's law, the Mendel's law of inheritance, that photosynthesis, the kind of all those things, calculus and mathematics, so many things. All these things they will not remember. long after they left the schools. Okay, what they will remember? They will remember only the kind of mindset you shaped and the kind of emotional skills you developed for the students. Even after leaving my teaching profession, long back, I meet my children even today in different walks of life. They come and say, they don't say, "Sir, you taught this lesson very nicely." They only say, "Sir, you developed so many emotional skills. You made me into a good personality." And that I remember, sir. I'm very grateful to you. They touch my feet and they salute me and they send me greetings whenever there is some festivals, etc., etc. So this is what I feel. I think this is the real blessing of the Almighty, the real blessing of Allah. So, my dear teachers, and try to understand that teaching is not an easy job. It is a noble job, but a very challenging job. I think I have given you some very useful inputs about a major issue that you are facing in your classroom, that is slow learning. Try to internalize, try to imbibe whatever I have transacted to you in the last 1 hour. And I thank the OMIET for providing this wonderful opportunity to interact with you. Of course, the time given by them is already over. In case you have anything to interact with me, any queries, questions to ask me, please feel free to WhatsApp to me in this number, and I will be definitely happy to respond to you very promptly. Thank you. Jazakallah khairan.
1 बजे तक नो ज्वाइन करने में ज्यादा घंटा लगा देगा। Hello participants, sir, questions you can ask. You have to type. You have to type in chat. First 5 questions will be taken. First 5 questions will be taken. In the chat box, you ask the question. Sir will answer. Saleem sir, see the chat. First 5 questions you can answer. First question is there, sir. First question is there. See the chart and answer, sir.
Okay. So once again, I request you, my beloved participants, please feel free to ask your questions, send your queries in WhatsApp. I will definitely try to respond it out of my rich experience for last 30,
See the chat,
35
sir.
years and all.
Sir,
Please, I think with this we can wind up.
கிட்ட யார் இருக்கிறாங்க சாருக்கு சாட் பார் சொல்லுங்க. சலீம் சார் பக்கத்துல யார் இருக்கிறாங்க?
We did not receive any question in the chat box, sir.
Not one is there. One is there in building students education. 2, 3 questions are there. Okay, because sir is not able to hearing problem is there for him. Most of the things he has explained, isn't? So very long discussion he has done and all the areas he has covered for the slow learners. So we have to take care of it, and it is also available in YouTube also. Anything you want to refresh yourself, you can see the YouTube and take the points. With this, we will be winding up this program. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallahumma bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Next program we will meet again 11:30 next Saturday. Thank you very much.